Welcome back everyone, it's Eric from Eric Candy. Here today we're back on the channel taking a look at some more decks now that Team Up is in the mix. And today we have kind of a fun one here. We have Miltank, and this actually isn't too new of a card. It came out back in Lost Thunder, but I thought this card kind of needed a little too much to actually get it going. But now that we have Team Up in the mix, we actually have, I think, some pretty good options to make this, more of a viable card than I think it previously was. So at a glance, this actually kind of looks like your vanilla run-of-the-mill like Jirachi Zapdos deck, but we have Miltank in the mix too. We have, of course, Zapdos is going to be in the mix to help us take some cheap early game prizes, but Miltank is going to be a great mid to late game finisher that can do some serious damage. So first, let's start with Miltank. Then we can kind of talk about how everything else kind of interacts with it. So Miltank is kind of a card I feel like probably not too many people even realize exists. It's back from Lost Thunder, like I mentioned. 130 HP basic, so kind of tanky in its own right, which is nice. But has just one single attack, Milk Cannon for 3 colorless, does 60 times the amount of Moo Moo Milk cards in your hand. So obviously we want to get 4 Moo Moo Milks in our hand and then just hit for 240 every turn. But the big problem this card I think has faced in the past is that Milk Cannon takes 3 energy, which is kind of annoying. If this was just a DCE based attack, this would be a much better card. But since that's not the case, it kind of forces you to run some degree of energy acceleration. In the past, I think you would have had to have used Malamar or something like that. But actually, now that we have Tapu Koko Prism Star, I think that actually gives Miltank a little bit more of a chance. It's a little less clunky than using something like Malamar as an example. So speaking of which, Tapu Koko Prism Star, of course, allows us to put it into the Lost Zone, then attach a Lightning Energy from discard to 2 of our benched Pokemon. So if we, the big downside to Miltank is if your only Miltank with energy gets knocked out, it takes 2 turns to manually power up another one, and that's just really not acceptable in like a competitive sort of environment. So Tapu Koko is actually really nice because it helps turn, it kind of gives you the flexibility of powering up a Miltank in one turn if you do need to, which is really nice here. We have 2 copies of Zapdos as well, so one downside that Miltank has is that you need all of your Moo Moo Milks, or most of them I should say, to really do a substantial amount of damage. So a lot of times in the early portions of the game, you're really not hitting for too much, and Zapdos actually is a great early game attacker because it has Thunderous Assault, 10+70 more if it became your active this turn. So ideally we can kind of soften up some stuff with Zapdos, or maybe take some cheap prizes on some low HP basics or something like that. So Zapdos is going to be kind of our main early game Pokemon that we're going to be focusing on here. We have 1 copy of Absol, of course, to make our opponent's Jirachis have 1 more retreat cost, or really any basic Pokemon in particular, but Jirachi is going to be the main one. We're really trying to disrupt it, so this is going to be good against your opposing like Jirachi Zapdos decks, or even Malamar and things like that as well. And we have 4 Jirachi. So this is going to be, not only the main way we dig through our deck and find supporters and, switching cards and, whatever we might need to keep us going throughout the course of a game, but also we can find Moo Moo Milk, which is really, really nice with this card. So this is going to be the primary way we're trying to find Moo Moo Milk. So, as we're, ideally our game plan is going to be beginning of the game, you kind of go in with Zapdos, and while you're switching around, because you do need to switch every turn to make use of Zapdos, in the process you're probably kind of finding a Moo Moo Milk along the way with this Jirachi, maybe with a supporter now and again too. And so by the mid to late game, you pretty much have accumulated all of your Moo Moo Milks in your hand thanks to these Jirachis and draw supporters, and you can start really going in with your Miltank from there. So going on to the rest of the deck, like I did mention, this is going to look very similar to others like Zapdos Jirachi style decks, and that's for good reason. It's a good engine, it sets up, and 4 Nest Ball, 3 Ultra Ball, so we are pretty much always going to ensure we are going to be able to find the Pokemon that we want. Obviously we're favoring Nest Ball because all of our Pokemon are basics. None of them have coming into play abilities, so that's why we are going to be focusing on this over Ultra Ball. Going on to our supporters, we have 4 Lily, so this is our ideal first turn draw supporter, draw until we have 8, or draw until we have 6 in our hand. We also have 3 copies of Volkner just to grab a Lightning Energy and an item card, so a lot of times we can, grab Lightning Switch to switch into a Zapdos, or, Lightning Energy Moo Moo Milk and start accumulating all of our Moo Moo Milks for the rest of the game. So Volkner is definitely proven to be a very good card in these lightning decks lately, so for pretty good reason. And then from there, 3 Professor Kukui, kind of an odd inclusion. I know the supporter count in general does kind of look a little bit odd here. And that's because you really don't want any shuffle draw options, because you're going to have to throw your Moo Moo Milks back into your deck, and you don't want that. You want to basically always have them in your hand and be slowly accumulating more of them throughout the course of a game. So that's why, instead of Cynthia, we're playing Kukui. It's going to allow us to hit better numbers with Zapdos, since we actually don't even play Electropower in this deck. Also, too, it kind of sometimes makes the difference between needing like a 3rd and 4th Moo Moo Milk or like a 2nd and 3rd one. So it's going to be just better to help us hit our numbers. And between our Jirachis and things like that, we have other ways to dig through our deck on a given turn, even though the draw 2 isn't that strong from Kukui. And then from there, for Guzma, to choose what we want to take knockouts on, but also, this is really good, just abusing Jirachis multiple times in a single turn, getting early knockouts with Zapdos as well. So that's why we're playing the kind of high count of Guzma. Going on to our stadiums, we have 2 Viridian Force, another card we've kind of seen pop up in these lightning decks. And so one reason we're playing Viridian Forest here is because we actually don't need that many lightning energy in this deck. Like, there's not really much of a need for, maybe like 7 to 8 physical copies of lightning energy, just because Zapdos only takes 1, Miltank's only going to need 1 plus a DCE. So we're favoring playing higher counts of stadiums as opposed to physical energy here. Because this will help us win the stadium more in the process, and like I said, we don't need an actual like super high count of basic energies here. Let's see, what else do we have here? Of course, for Moo Moo Milk, and we're actually probably never going to play this card. It's not that great other than increasing your damage output with Miltank. But I will briefly mention flip 2 coins for each heads, heal 30. Pretty bad. On average, you're going to be essentially using a potion. I like how this reads with Miltank, where you do plus 60. That seems much better than a potential heal 30. So yeah, this is mainly, like I said, just to fuel our Miltank's attacks. Let's see, we have a ton of switching cards here. We have 3 switch to Escape Rope. Of course, Escape Rope is going to also force your opponent to switch in the process. So this is sometimes like a pseudo Guzma in certain instances as well. So we're going to need to do a ton of switching with our Jirachis. Absol is also a very popular tech Pokemon in the current format, so being able to get around that without having to rely on escape boards is going to be pretty useful. Also, of course, 2 copies of Escape Board, just because not every deck is going to play Absol, and getting that free retreat on our Jirachis is so nice. Let's see. I guess speaking of tool cards, we also do play 2 copies of Choice Band here, of course, to hit better numbers with Miltank. With 3 Moo Moo Milks and a Choice Band, that's going to be 210, which is a fantastic number to hit for. So also similarly, if you have 4 of them in your hand with Choice Band, you're hitting 270, so you can even knock out things like Venusaur, Celebi in one hit as well. So just to help us hit slightly better numbers, and also makes Zapdos a bit better against GXs in the early portions of the game as well. So we also have 1 copy of Counter Gain. So if you have more prizes remaining than your opponent, your attacks take 1 colorless less to use on the Pokemon this is attached to. So this is another way we can kind of power up a Miltank in 1 turn potentially. So if we don't have the Coco combo ready to go and we're behind, we can just slap down Counter Gain. We can search it out with Volkner, with Jirachi. So we actually have a decent amount of ways to find this. And also we do play 1 copy of Adventure Bag as well. To me, this kind of fills the role of a second Counter Gain. I really don't think you're going to need more than 1 over the course of a game. So instead of running a second one, I prefer just to run Adventure Bag, because this basically is a 3rd out to a Choice Band, a 3rd out to an Escape Board, and like I said, I think we're going to get more value out of the flexibility of this as opposed to a second Counter Gain. We have also 1 copy of Energy Lotto. This is going to be another potential Volkner or Jirachi target, just because we actually have no way of searching double colorless energy out of our deck. So this is going to be one way we can help do that, because Viridian Forest is only going to search basics, Volkner is only going to search basics, but Energy Lotto will allow us to potentially find a special energy if it is in those top 7 cards of our deck. Let's see. I think that might be it. I think we just have one stretcher to round out the trainer cards, and then to round out the list from there, 4 DCEs and 5 basic lightning energies. So like I said, we really don't need too many basic lightning energies in this deck. Zapdos attacks for a single lightning. Miltank usually only needs 1 lightning attached. Coco can recycle them as well, so I think that is going to be more than enough for what we're trying to do with this deck. So yeah, guys, happy to actually be able to try out Miltank. I know a couple people actually requested to see this back during Lost Thunder. Never got around to it. But like I said, I think Miltank actually gets a bit better thanks to a lot of these new cards that we've seen be pretty impactful since Team Up released. But I'll quit rambling, guys. Let's head over into the battle portion of the video, and I'll show you how this deck looks in action. Alright, guys, our opponent is going to call the coin flip for this game here. Doi GG, I guess that's how you pronounce that name. We are going to win the coin flip. That's definitely cool. Maybe we can get ourselves down an energy attachment first turn on Miltank, kind of threaten a knockout for the following turn. And here, this hand is actually pretty good. Starting 2 Moo Milks is, you don't see that every game, so that's definitely cool. We have Kukui, so we can still draw a few cards. So I think we definitely nest ball first no matter what. I think we're going to grab... kind of want to go for a Miltank here, just because we do have the Moo Moo Milks in hand. It's if we didn't have those, we'd probably just go more like aggro Zapdos here. But nevertheless, we'll still grab ourselves a Zapdos just in case. And here's trying to think, do we Kukui or Stellar Wish first? But I think I want a Stellar Wish. And we actually find Volkner. That actually might be a little bit better here. Because we really don't need the extra damage. Preferably we would save the extra damage for when we're actually attacking. So I think what we're going to do here, we can go... Definitely Lightning Energy no matter what, we have to take that. But other than that, what do we get? We could grab Adventure Bag to grab an Escape Board and another tool. Could also get a different, like, switching card maybe. Or a Nest Ball even. We could get ourselves another Jirachi. That's actually an option too. So I think I kind of like that, just in case, because if we are going against like Jolteon as an example, if they have like two electric powers, they can actually just knock out this Jirachi. I want to have another one to promote here. So this should be fine. Here we're going to see a Nest Ball from our opponent. Let's see what they're playing. Okay, so this is going to be like some sort of Jolteon Zapdos deck, or Pikachu's Zekrom, or something kind of like that. So here we're going to see a Volkner from them. Going to see a Switch and a Lightning Energy. Okay, so I'm okay with that. This is actually a situation where I kind of want to, I'd love to promote Jirachi, but at the same time we just have the KO. We don't have a switching card, so I think it'd be better just to guarantee the KO in this situation. So that's why I'm thinking, I kind of want to promote Miltank here. We could also just promote Jirachi and say, you know what, we're going to get the switching card we need. Okay, so I guess we attach, or well, let's hold off. If we hit counter game, we might want to attach the lightning, but we don't hit anything like that. That's fine. So we'll just go ahead and use Milk Cannon, I guess. We could get the other Jirachi back just in case of a Guzman knockout. Kind of like that too, potentially. Hasn't seemed too terrible. So yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. And we'll throw that guy down, and then we'll just Milk Cannon, take the KO. So I feel pretty decent right here. Now one thing that could be bad if our opponent hits like Lightning, Electro Power, Thunder Mountain, they could actually GX us, which would be pretty terrible for our Miltank here. But we'll have to see how they're going to try to respond. Yeah, it's going to be pretty difficult for a Jolteon to knock out this Miltank, like I said, unless they have that specific combo of cards in particular. So here we're going to see a Cynthia from them. They definitely need a good bit. Their first turn really wasn't that, explosive. They were able to take the knockout with Zapdos, but their board really didn't have too much going on there. Yep. Oh, but here we just get the victory screen, so I guess they just had kind of a sluggish start there. But nevertheless, we're definitely going to play a couple more games with this deck, see what we can make happen. Hope we can get ourselves a longer game. Here we are going to win the coin flip. That is fine with me, of course. Unfortunately, we did not get a basic. That hand actually would have been pretty good, especially if we started with Jirachi. That would have been great. So here our opponent also has Zero Aura deck box, Lost Under Sleeve, so I'll have to see what we're playing against, but probably another Lightning deck, just based on what they have there. Just in general, I remember like recording the games for this, and it was just like Lightning deck after Lightning deck after Lightning deck. So it definitely seems to be pretty popular online. And okay, I mean, this hand's workable. Luckily we have the Jirachi to start with, so that's good. I'll have to see what we can top deck here, but Volkner is definitely not like our ideal first turn supporter, but okay. So we're seeing a Raikou, so I'm assuming this is going to be like Pikachu Zekrom, like more so than like Jirachi Zapdos or something like that. So we're going to Stellar Wish. We could get Lily, because we could, I don't know if we can actually play down our hand enough to make good use of it. Could go for Ultra Ball potentially, just to ensure we can get another Pokemon, but also we have Volkner, so like, but if we do that, we can grab something else with Volkner, maybe like in a skateboard or something like that. So yeah, this is kind of a awkward little starting hand here. We're just gonna grab an Ultra Ball though, that's fine. So here we're gonna go for a Volkner, and we could grab Nest Ball and a Lightning Energy. That seems decent to me, I suppose. So we definitely need to get Lightning Energy no matter what, but just trying to think from there. So we could go for Nest Ball, we could also go for like a skateboard, but I like this. We can just get a Jirachi down immediately with this. So here we can get rid of, I think I'm going to get rid of the Energy Lotto. I want to keep the other Lightning in hand just to get down a Pokemon. So here we can, well, we can grab Miltank, but we don't even have any Moo Moo Milk, so maybe it's better just to go for the Zapdos in this situation. So here we'll grab ourselves, I think we're just going to get another Jirachi, that's fine. Put down the Zapdos, we can switch into the Jirachi, try to find just a couple more cards here. Okay, we could grab Lily, that actually could be good. Or we could get Moo Moo Milk, I kind of like that too. I think either one of those is going to be okay. But here we actually could... I don't want all these cards. But here we're just going to grab the Moo Moo Milk. You know, we don't have like an actual great draw supporter for next turn, but you know, we have Jirachi, so it's easy to kind of get in the mindset here with this card sometimes where it's like, it's fine, I'm just going to hit exactly what I need off Jirachi on the following turn. So but I did want to at least start accumulating some of these Moo Moo Milks, just because Zapdos really isn't going to be too great against this deck here. You know, we can't even knock out these Raikous, or if they play Zapdos, we can't even knock out that. So we really can't capitalize too much on this Zapdos here, unless our opponent plays Jirachis of their own. So we definitely need to start setting up the Moo Moo Milk, or I forget what the name of the attack is on Miltank already, but we need to start preparing to go aggro Miltank probably in the mid game here. So it looks like our opponent's going for Nest Ball. I'll have to see what they're going to get. They do have that Zero Aura in play, so... Okay, they do have a Jirachi of their own. That's actually pretty good. So that actually will allow us to, you know, maybe get some cheap prizes, you know, in the early game here. So they are going to play an Electric Power. They do need another one to knock out this Jirachi, and that's actually fine by me if they do want to go that route. I'd rather them burn their Electric Powers knocking out these Jirachis as opposed to our Miltanks, and kind of force their GXs to be able to deal with our Miltank, because that's when we're going to really shine, is when we can take these big one-hit knockouts on GXs. So your opponent's going to Ultra Ball, maybe see a Tapu Koko Prism Star. I think that could be an option. Or even if they're attacking with Raikou, they actually don't even need Tapu Koko just yet. So here they are going to go for the Pikachu Zekrom. I think that's good. They can probably wait and save the Prism Star, assuming it's in their deck. And they do find the other Electric Power. That's pretty big here. So they are going to go for Booming Thunder, getting that knockout. So yeah, they are going to attach Pikachu Zekrom. That seems good as well. So what do we need this turn? That's going to be the question. We do find Miltank, so we could get that down. But here, I think I want to Stellar Wish first. And nice, we actually hit Guzma. I do like that. So we can at least guarantee a knockout with this. Or well, you know what we could do as well. I kind of want a Volkner here, because what we can do, I really don't want to attack into this Raikou, so we could just go for an Escape Rope as well. Because I think what's going to be important here is getting an energy attachment. We really don't want to fall behind on our attachments with our Miltanks. So here what we can do is we can... Yeah, and I pretty much like anything our opponent could possibly promote. You know, even if they promote the Zapdos, they can't really get the damage boost from it because it's already the active spot. If they promote Jirachi, it gets knocked out. Here we'll grab ourselves another Jirachi, and we'll just escape rope. So let's see what they're going to actually promote here. Because, yeah, like I said, I like anything that they're going to promote. Even if we can't get a knockout on Zapdos, like I said, it's kind of disruptive just forcing it active. But hey, this is actually fantastic. So here we're going to get down this Choice Band, just do a little bit extra damage here. And we're going to go for a Thunderous Assault for 110. So that's going to knock its remaining HP down to just 130. So all we need is two Moo Moo Milks and a Kukui, and we can actually take a knockout on this Pikachu Zekrom. Okay, we're going to see a Licia. That's pretty good. That's going to allow them to, of course, get that Tapu Koko Prism Star and Thunder Mountain. Okay, maybe they don't have the Koko Prism then. Maybe it's in their prizes. But this is still going to be big for them. They can knock out the Zapdos. It's honestly fine with me. Zapdos has kind of done its job. At this point, we basically need to, I think, start going in with this Miltank and starting to try to take some knockouts. But we need to find, like I said, we either need two Moo Moo Milks, a Moo Moo Milk and a Choice Band, or a Moo Moo Milk and a Kukui. And we still need a switching card as well, so we are actually in kind of an awkward situation. But here we can actually go for Lily. I kind of like this turn. Yeah, that seems good. We really just need to refresh our hand. We've been living off our hand for a few turns, but I think we just have to start getting some more cards. Okay, so that is good. We at least do find another Moo Moo Milk. This Jirachi, unfortunately, is probably going to go down, though. But at least we have kind of set ourselves up to where our next turn can be good. Now, one thing we don't want to see is our opponent actually take a knockout on this Miltank with an energy. That would be pretty bad because, you know, Miltank takes two attachments, and it's going to force us to find an extra like combo piece to pull off a knockout if they can successfully KO it here. But they just have a one-card hand, so I feel kind of okay about the spot they're in. But here we're just going to see a retreat and take a knockout with this Zapdos, okay? And so what do we do? I think we just promote this Jirachi yet again. We need to find some switching cards here that are not Guzma specifically. Okay, so what do? We could go for a Nest Ball to find Koko Prism. I think that is an option, or even another Jirachi could be good as well. So here we have the Nest Ball. We really need to make something happen this turn, though. Or, you know what we could do, even if we... Yeah, I like this too, because we have the Zapdos, we have the Thunder Mountain in place. We can actually still take a knockout on this Jirachi and take like a free prize that way. We unfortunately did not really find any energy there, so I think we just kind of need to find other ways to take knockouts till we can find those DCEs and those lightning energies. Do get Escape Rope, that's actually pretty good. Just in case we find a second Jirachi, we can always make use of that. But here we're getting into a bad spot. If we don't take a knockout next turn with Miltank on like a GX, we're going to be in some trouble just because we're going to be, I think, just too far behind. So our next turn in particular is going to be really big for us, I think. So we're going to see another Pikachu Zekrom come down, so maybe they're anticipating having to pivot to that one since the other one with more energy is damaged. So let's see what our opponent's going to do. They're just going to promote this other Zapdos and attack for free, okay? That's fine by me. They did not take a knockout, and that is a good top deck, I'll tell you what. Okay, so what do? We have two Moo Milks. We're hitting for 120, so we're just 10 short of knocking out this Pikachu Zekrom. I think we have to skateboard into Jirachi, and hopefully our opponent promotes the Pikachu Zekrom. That would actually be amazing. I don't think we're quite that lucky though. Okay, so just Raikou, that's kind of fine. So here we really need Choice Band. And okay, that works too. Just getting a third Moo Moo Milk. So that's really, really good for us. So what we can do, we can just attach to Miltank, Guzma up the damaged Pikachu Zekrom, and take 3 prizes and pull ahead in the prize race here. So here we'll bring that guy up. And I'm just thinking, do we bench anything, or do we bench the Absol? I might even like keep it for like an Ultra Ball target, like if we to get out Coco Prism. But I was just trying to think if they play Marshadow, would kind of like Absol on the bench, but we're just gonna assume they don't have it. Oh, and we actually had a Moo Moo Milk prize. That actually would have been good to take note of when we searched our deck earlier. So yeah, I think we're in a good spot. Now this Miltank is going to go down, but we have Coco Prism in deck. We've seen it. We have Volkner in hand as well, so we can actually just search it out that way. Alrighty, so we need a switching card too. That's the trouble here. That is unfortunate. I was thinking if we get like a switching card or like a Ultra Ball or Nest Ball, that actually would have been big. But here we're just going to, what do we do? Could get Viridian Force bump their Stadium. That could be good for us. So I guess I kind of, well, actually, you know what? I think we may have misplayed going that route, to be honest. Yeah, I think we did. So I think what we actually need to do here is attach to Miltank and just put on pressure with this Zapdos in the meantime. But we kind of messed that up, guys. I won't lie to you. So I do think that actually is a pretty decent misplay on my part there. So what do we do here this turn? That's the next question. We could Volkner. I kind of like the idea of maybe going for Coco Prism and just like getting energies on each of these Miltanks. We definitely grab Lightning Energy. I guess we'll grab Adventure Bag, because we can Escape Rope and still like soften up this Zeraora, I guess. This seems pretty bad. Yeah, I think I actually misplayed this game. Yeah, so we'll just spend 2 more cards out deck. That's fine. I do remember I did get a phone call. Either it's like towards the end of this game or the beginning of the next game we have. So this might have been the game where I got my phone call, and I might have been just a little distracted or something. I don't remember. But either way, yeah, I definitely think we played. I definitely think we played this one wrong this turn. So here, yeah, we're just gonna soften up this Zeraora, and now we're, you know, we're still not in a completely terrible spot, because if we find the Coco Prism, we're gonna be in a good spot. But we just have to find that now. We can't really make great use of Lily. We have this Kukui, which is definitely nice though. And now we're also in a spot where our opponent's probably just going to retreat and knock us out with Zapdos too. So yeah, I definitely don't like I definitely don't like what we did here. I think also if we were going to commit to the Adventure Bag strategy, I think going for a counter gain actually would have been better here, because we knew our opponent was going to take a knockout and Miltank was going to be able to attack just for a DCE. So yeah, I definitely screwed up that entire last turn. So my B on that one, guys. And here they're going to discard a Raikou, grabbing a Lightning Energy. So our top deck's going to be pretty big. We have to hit Counter Gain or Coco Prism off this top deck, or a Guzma. We have, because we need both of those cards this turn. We need a way to power up a Miltank in one turn, and we need a way to, you know, bring up something to knock out. So it's going to be a big top deck, and we're going to promote Jirachi. This will at least help us out a little bit. And we do hit Guzma, so that's pretty big. So what do we do? What do we do? Let's see, we have all of our energy. We can't thin any more energy out of the deck, so we just have to go for Stellar Wish and hope we get there. And we do! That's actually pretty good. We could get that or get the counter gain. Either one's like completely fine. Okay, so yeah, even though, like I said, I definitely misplayed on my last turn there. Screwed that all up. We did not get punished for it, but don't let the results of this game fool you guys. I definitely should have played that last turn differently. We just happened to get a little bit lucky here on this last turn. So yeah, we'll just Guzma. We can bring up anything. We'll just bring up the Zeraora and take our last 2 prizes, doing an insane 270 with Miltank here. Alrighty, so Miltank yet again is going to take another dub over these Lightning decks. But here we're going to hop into one more game, guys. Hopefully we can get a game where I don't screw up like my sequencing and pick the wrong cards there. And yet we have another lightning deck. Luckily this hand is actually pretty good though. If we can find ourselves a Lily, that would be even better. But yeah, like I said guys earlier, there's just a ton of lightning decks on PTCGO the other night. Like I played against a couple other ones, but then they just like quit after like a turn or two. So these were unfortunately the only games I could find that were actually half decent. Okay, and we actually top deck Lily, which is pretty great. We could go for another Jirachi here, but actually I think I'd rather get down... a Miltank or a Zapdos in this situation. We're going to go for the Miltank, I think. Just to get down an energy on it prematurely, kind of threaten the Milk Cannon attack. I guess we can bench Absol, like I really don't want to, but... because our opponent's probably not playing a bunch of Jirachis if they're playing Pikachu-Zekrom, so here we're just going to Lily. And we do find a Moo Moo Milk, which is nice. And okay, cool. We actually find a Nest Ball, which is great as well. So we can Nest Ball, grab ourselves another Jirachi, or we could even get Zapdos potentially. I kind of like the idea of going for another Jirachi though. Yeah, we'll do that. We play so many switching cards as it is, so more than likely we can find ourselves a way to switch this one out of the active too. So here we're going to grab ourselves Wittler. Lily, not too good at this point. We got our use out of it that we wanted. And here we just pass. So yeah, pretty solid little first turn for us. We even found a Moo Moo Milk in the process. So our opponent's going to get down a energy here. And just trying to think, if they do knock out the Jirachi, what is our plan of attack? Because if we can get... because we need 3 Moo Moo Milks and Kukui, or 3 Moo Moo Milks and Choice Band. Yeah, I'm actually not sure if we can even knock out the Jolteon. I mean, it's possible, but it's just kind of unlikely for us, I think. Now, another thing it could be bad for is if... okay, I was going to say if they have the Thunder Mountain and go for the GX attack, that would be pretty annoying as well. Okay, just pass back over to us. And we do find Cocoa Prism. Not too relevant just yet, but let's see. Okay, we do find Switch. That's pretty good. Kind of want to save the Escape Rope. Like, even though I wouldn't mind using it here and attacking into something that doesn't have energy, forcing them to have another energy. Well, actually, we could still do that, I guess. It kind of ensures or makes it more difficult for them to hit us with the GX attack with Jolteon. But, I don't know. I think either one's good here. I kind of might favor the Switch. Yeah, I like this just because... in this case, we can get the first hit in on this Jolteon, and we can actually save our Escape Ropes. If they do use the GX attack, we can use Escape Rope and force them onto the bench, clearing the effect. So I think I like that better. So I guess we can just go for an Ultra Ball here. We kind of want to make sure we can get ourselves a Zapdos. Don't really want to attack with Miltank just yet. So here we definitely Volkner, no questions asked. But, we could even go for, no, I think Volkner is fine because the math actually works out pretty good. Going for just the Zapdos as is, hitting for 80 will mean that a 120 for Miltank can actually finish it off. So we'll go for Lightning Energy, just trying to think. We either go for Moo Moo Milk here or we go for a Nest Ball. But I think I like the Moo Moo Milk idea. We have the Ultra Ball. So I think we can afford to discard some of these to get out the Zapdos. We can definitely discard a Lightning Energy. And I think maybe a Kukui. I think that's a consideration. So yeah, that seems pretty good. We'll go for the Zapdos. Kind of wanted to hang on to the counter game. That was one of the other cards I was thinking about, just in case our opponent does take a knockout next turn. We do have a way to make use of that potentially. So here we'll retreat. And I kind of want to save this Cocoa Prism as well for when we have 2 Miltanks in play, because those are the Pokemon I really want to get the most use out of here with this Cocoa Prism's ability. So we're going to do 80 to Jolteon. Like I said, now we're in a spot where these Milk Cannon will actually knock this thing out. And they do find the second energy, so we'll have to see what they're going to go for here. It depends on, like, what's their plan of attack, what GX attack are they favoring. But here, I think they honestly should just attack with Jolteon's GX attack, prevent it from being knocked out. They could, of course, want to get greedy and use Pikachu-Zekroms at some point to get 2 prizes, but Jolteon kind of accomplishes the same thing because you're going to take a knockout, and then next turn, I can't attack you, leaving Jolteon to be able to pick off another Pokemon, before it gets knocked out as well. So either way, it kind of accomplishes the same thing as Pikachu-Zekrom. So if I'm in my opponent's situation, or my opponent's shoes, I think that's what I'm probably going for here. So our opponent's going to go for a Voltner. I'm not sure really what they need at this point. Going to go for a Nest Ball and an Energy, that's fine. Or what I maybe would have liked to see from them is attached to like Pikachu's Zekrom, and then just use an Electro Power to knock out this Zapdos. I think that would have been good. Over here, they're just going to retreat into Jirachi. Very interesting. So maybe they have a Switch, or a Guzma, or something like that then. Okay, they have Energy Switch. And, oh, if they have Guzma, that would actually be pretty annoying, though, to knock out Miltank. Oh, but just a... Oh, they actually couldn't Guzma. They already used Voltner. My bad, guys. So yeah, just to knock out here on the Zapdos, that is fine by me. So here, we're just going to promote our Jirachi with our Skateboard. And let's see, we're going to go for a... Well, what do we want? That's the question. I honestly might even Kukui first. It just depends what do we want to get here. Kind of maybe want to find a Guzma for next turn, but I don't know. So let's Kukui first, thin out those non-trainer cards out of the deck. So I think that definitely worked out for us there. We can Stellar Wish now. And we could go for Guzma. I kind of like that. Could even go for Stretcher. I don't mind that either. Get the Zapdos back in play. But here, looks like we're going to eye down the Guzma. I do like this, though. Will allow us to pull off like multiple Jirachis in a given turn and stuff like that as well. So we'll bench this other Miltank. Oh, and actually, you know what we could do here? I kind of like the idea of attaching to this Miltank and making use of our counter gain as well. It seems pretty good to me here. So we'll just retreat. And yeah, we can just Milk Cannon, take a knockout on this Jolteon. So feeling pretty good about the spot that we're in. Like I said, our opponent did not use their GX attack. Very weird there. I really think that was the right way to go, just because they would have been immune here and they could have taken an additional knockout on their next turn. But again, maybe they have something different in mind that I'm kind of unaware of. But like I said, I definitely think that would have been the play in their spot. So at least for them, they do have a Jirachi, so they can make use of Stellar Wish before they start attacking with something else. We were going to see another Volkner. Let's see what they're going to find. I'd imagine probably a way to get Tapu Koko Prism Star going, just so they can start attacking with some of these other Pokemon. And their hand is huge, so I have to imagine they have, you know, a good bit at their disposal here. I'd be very surprised if we didn't get attacked. Okay, so they are going to find that. So if they have the Koko, the energy attachment for turn, and the energy switch, which we do know they have, the energy switch at least, then they can actually get Pikachu Zekrom up and running. And they have Field... Who plays Field Blower? Like, unless you're Zoroark, this is not a card I expect to see. But hey, that'll definitely be good for them. They can get rid of that skateboard off our Jirachi, which is going to be pretty big in this situation here. Luckily for us, we do have some Guzma, so we can still like kind of play around this as well if need be. And yeah, they are going to attach to the Pikachu Zekrom, so yeah, we probably are going to see a full Blitz this turn if I just had to guess. And what are they going to do? Are they going to Guzma? Are they going to switch? Okay, they are going to do the energy switch. We did know that was probably coming. And okay, they're going to bench an Eevee. There's their Aura. What else do they have here? An Electric Power. Are they going to hit with a Marsh Head? That would actually be pretty annoying for us, I think, too. Because I don't think they actually played a supporter, or maybe they did, because maybe they Volkner to get the Nest Ball and Lightning Energy. I think that's what they did there. Oh, just to pass over to us. So that's actually a pretty big whiff on our opponent's part, not being able to attack us. But like I said, I really do think they missed an opportunity with that Jolteon using its GX attack. I definitely think that would have been the play for them. Just trying to think, what do we do here? Because we could Guzma, but I don't know. I don't mind even just knocking out this Jirachi and then needing to just knock out this Pikachu Zekrom to win the game. So here we're going to Kukui. What do we do? We have a third Jirachi. You really don't want to bench that. 2 is honestly too much at this point. I guess we can get down the choice band just in case. Just trying to thin some cards out of our hand here. We'll go for a Milk Cannon. Just doing a solid little 120 to this Jirachi, knocking it out. Luckily for us, we have a couple of different switching cards. Oh, and we hit another one. So even on this next turn, if we don't have like a Moo Moo Milk off our top deck or something, we can at least pull off a bunch of different like Jirachi shenanigans to maybe find what we need to take this game. Now, the one thing that is getting a little bit scary. Oh, they're going to retreat. That's interesting. Maybe we're going to see a Guzma then, if that's the case. And they're just going to fail the energy evolution. Okay, but they do have Guzma, so they are going to try to knock out this Miltank. That's fine by me. The other one's the one that has energy anyway, so. And we actually have Stretcher as well, so we can actually just Stretcher this Miltank and attach the DCE to it as well. And yep, they are gearing up for that GX attack. That could be pretty bad for us. But we actually could still get a knockout on this Pikachu Zekrom this turn. So we need to hit a Moo Moo Milk. We do hit Switch, that's pretty good too. So here we can... Yeah, there's no other cards we can use. So here we're going to go for... Could go for Volkner. I'm just trying to think. What do we actually get? I think maybe we just grab that in anticipation if we whiff like everything we need to take a knockout here. So what do we do? So I think we definitely have to escape rope no matter what this turn. Because we're gonna need to probably... Yeah, we're probably going to need to Guzma this thing. So actually maybe we should have grabbed the adventure bag instead of the Volkner there earlier. So maybe that's another like kind of suboptimal play. But we do find the adventure bag again, but hey, we want that Moo Moo Milk. That's going to be the big one. And God, I'm just trying to think, how greedy do we actually want to get at this point? We have a third Jirachi, so if we bench it and switch into it and find the fourth Moo Moo Milk, we just win. Which seems very, very tempting for me. So yeah, we're gonna go for it, guys. This is pretty obnoxious, but we'll see what happens. We have 20 cards in deck. Can we hit it? 1 out of 4 chance, basically. And we do hit it. So Miltank is gonna be able to just like obliterate this fully powered Pikachu Zekrom. So yeah, just doing my math right. Yep, we do have exactly enough to knock this thing out, and we can just go Milk Cannon for game. So that's pretty crazy how that happened there. So yep, we're going to do 240, taking the knockout on this Pikachu Zekrom, winning pretty convincingly actually against this matchup with our boy Miltank here. But yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed looking at this deck. Definitely a fun one if you're bored with a lot of the current like Jirachi, Zapdos style decks. You want to switch it up a little bit. Definitely feel free to try this thing out. Actually isn't too bad. This deck's definitely going to struggle against things like Marshadow and anything that plays multiple copies of Judge. But nevertheless, it's still a lot of fun to play when you can make like the quad Moo Moo Milk play happen there, like we had in that last game. But anyways, guys, if you did enjoy this content, feel free to like and subscribe, and also consider supporting this channel by becoming a patron over at patreon.com/rarecandytcg, or by picking up some merch from our online store, rarecandytcg.com. It would mean a lot. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.